The stud muffin runs, but will it drive? Welcome back to DPB. I'm Josh. The last time you saw this Lark, we got it running after 36 years, which is pretty dang cool. Also tested the transmission just a little bit, make sure it went into gear forward and backwards, so we're good there. But we've still got a ton of work to do to get this thing drivable. So first thing we're gonna do today, try to seal up this radiator. I've got some tank weld. So it says it goes up to 4,000 PSI. We'll try it out. So I think I'm just gonna sand it a little bit and try to get that surface prepped. So hopefully it'll stick really good. To get this, first thing, I got some belts on order at Napa. And then I think what we're gonna do is tackle the fuel system. So I got a new fuel pump. Looks like it's right down there. So we're gonna swap that out. And then we're gonna inspect the tank and see if it's usable. I did grab a new gas cap because it did not have a gas cap, which is probably not good. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna see if we can dump a little fuel in there, see just how dirty it is, and we'll make sure we put a filter in front of the pump to make sure we don't run any garbage through that pump.
Somebody else already tried to do this once. All right, so it says to just cut off the amount that you need, which I don't know how much you need, but this looks good. And then just knead it. I only have one glove left, so I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. Gotta mix that black and gray together. Yeah, looks pretty uniform. I don't know about this. Yeah, let's try it.
All right, I got the fuel pump pulled out, and there's evidence that this has been replaced. I mean, there's RTV around the gasket, the fuel line has been cut, there was a new rubber line in and output of the pump, and so I'm actually going to put this back in and see if it works, because if it works, it'll save us 50 bucks. It does say made in the USA, so it should be a good one, as long as it's not, you know, dried up from sitting all those years. But I'm sure somebody has tried in the last 36 years to get this thing going, and maybe they just failed because of that you know, grounded wire. All right, got the tank puttied up. I think we're gonna work on some throttle linkage now, and then we gotta do brakes. All right, throttle linkage is done. It wasn't really anything to figure out. This is the linkage that came with the car. I'm assuming it's factory. And I was wondering what the tie wire stuff was over here. I thought maybe this wasn't the right linkage and they just jerry rigged it, but it's this rod end over here is wore out, so it doesn't stay connected to the little button or whatever, that little knob. So I just zip tied it on there, but it is on the little knob there, whatever that's called. But in the process, I broke my throttle return spring, so I got to get one of those. Give it a little tappy. All right.
Popping the hub off. That was easy. I have to revisit my own video on how to do this. Let me set these up. Sometimes you have to back off that star adjuster inside the drum, and it's a pain in the butt. But luckily, didn't have to. Dang it, we need some brake shoes. Those are gone. Those brake shoes have nothing left, so gonna have to address that. Didn't really want to have to buy brake shoes, but gonna have to. All right. Let's pull off the other side, see what it looks like, and then I guess we'll pull off the rear and see what it looks like, get a parts list. All right, we got more of the same on the driver's side front, plus this wheel cylinder shot, so gonna do a complete brake job, I guess. Working on the back, I'm on the rear driver's side. I was like really struggling with these lug nuts. Got the heat gun out, and then as I was heating them up, I noticed, see that little L? They're left-handed threads. And on the passenger side, they're right-handed threads, which I guess that makes sense, but they just don't do that anymore. So anyway, way easier to take them off when you're going the right direction. All right, well, I guess this takes a special tool. It's like a hub puller, basically, that will bolt to the drum and then push on the axle shaft here to pull this off. And my father-in-law has got one, so rear brakes are on hold at the moment. I think what I'm going to do next is pull that master cylinder and see if we can get that new one put in there. So the master cylinder's on the frame rail on these old cars. You fill them up right at the driver's floorboard. So got the hard lines sprayed up about an hour ago, so hopefully we can break those loose. Might need to do the whole heat trick. I think I'm going to do that because I really don't want to have to bend lines. So I'm going to throw some heat on there and then spray some more juice on it, and hopefully break those lines apart without breaking the lines. Did I get that hot enough? I don't know. It's bubbling. Not spinning on the hard line. Oh man, that's not good. I wonder if I can pull that off and not worry about breaking those loose at all. Oh man, don't do that. Oh, there it goes. Okay, sweet. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bench bleed on this master cylinder. Since I had to leave the distribution block underneath the car, I have just a big old gaping hole at the end of the master cylinder, so I'm just jamming this fuel line in there to recirculate it. Waiting for all the bubbles to disappear. Sweet. It's a lot easier than that one on the Impala. Alright, got her all topped off, bled up. I'm going to mount this thing under the car real quick, and then I think I'm going to go eat some lunch. Getting hungry. Alright, got battery put in it. I hooked up the vacuum advance. Didn't even think about having that gigantic vacuum leak on the back of the carb, so that probably didn't help. Plugged up some vacuum lines here. Got my throttle return spring. Put in a fan belt for the water pump. Discovered I got a water pump leak. We're gonna check if it's charging here in a minute. And I got the old fuel pump put back in and got a line ran to this gas can. So we're gonna crank it over, just bottle feed it, and then see if we get some gas squirting out here. Then we'll know that this pump works. If the pump works, then we're gonna hook up an inline filter and throw some gas in the tank, see if we can get fuel from the tank and get it running off its own fuel system, which would be awesome. Also got my new coil wire hooked up from the keyed ignition. Yep. That pump works. Whew, we got a mess now. Yes, that's awesome. I think what I'm going to do next before I hook up the other fuel system is just hook this up to the carb and see if we can get it to idle that way. Probably gonna waste a bunch of perfectly good gas here, putting anything in this tank, but and we'll put some of this in there for good measure. Drink up, stud muffin. We now have a brand new gas cap. Sweet. Probably gonna take a minute to prime that line. There it is. There it is. It's incredible. It's not filling up the fuel filter, but it could be, I don't know, the placement of it. But it's actually clean. It's kind of crazy. It is idling off this complete low fuel system right now. That is awesome. That is so cool. It's idling off its own fuel system. Factory tank. It's got the mechanical pump that was on the car. That is insane. The carburetor that was on the car. Right on. It's actually pretty clean. Wow. Real lucky on that one. Now you gotta figure out the charging and brakes. I think one more day I'll have it. All right, got about 30 minutes tonight to work on this thing. Picked up some extra shifts, and I hate doing that, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So it's kind of cutting into my wrenching time. Anyway, figured out how this thing comes off. And by figured it out, I mean I talked to my father-in-law, and guess what? He's got the tool you need. Check out this box. This thing's ancient. But basically, these little doodads hook onto the drum, and this pushes against the axle shaft, and you beat on this with a hammer. So let me get all that set up. Put this guy on there. Oh, great. Oh my god, I'm going the wrong friggin' way. Here we go. Smallest sledge I can find at the moment. She's coming. And I definitely need some brake shoes. Holy crap balls. Well, that's all I got time for tonight, but it feels good to have those drums off so I know kind of what I'm working with.
one drum is pretty bad, but I think I'm just gonna run a wire wheel inside and clean it up the best I can. Can't really put a ton of money in this car, you know, like turning the drums and stuff, especially like if we keep this or somebody else gets it, we're not gonna run this factory drivetrain. Like, it's cool for now, but I see this thing with like LS, little 9-inch, and it would freaking scoot. But anyway, we just want to get it, you know, being able to stop. So I'm gonna spray all the brake line joints down with some blaster and then hit the hay. Not sure how likely that's gonna come apart, but we will try it. All right, my Harbor Freight heat gun. Just gonna try to heat up that fitting and get a little lube in there. This kind of work takes a lot of patience, because you don't want to break stuff, but you feel like you're kind of on a time crunch, because you only have so many hours to work on a project. Just want to get it all done. But carpenter I worked with, he used to say, once is fast, and I think it applies to this as well. Like, get it right the first time, don't break anything. We'll see how we do. Sizzling. All right, well, that's soaked. I think I'm gonna try to pull this wheel cylinder off, and then we'll go ahead and break that free. Sweet. No way, it broke loose. Alright, I'm gonna try to get that clip off there. Alright, here's one. Well, I can just cut that. Sweet. Sweet, that connection where the rubber line hit the hard line was completely covered in dirt and mud that's just been caked on there. So I was not confident that it was going to come apart, but maybe that, little protective layer of dirt helped. Who knows? I'm going to try to get the rest of what I'm going to call the dangerous connections separated. And if anything happens, I'll check in with you. I think that'll be a good goal for tonight, is just to make sure that we don't have any broken lines. And the next time I get out here, we can just put it together. All right, I only broke 1 out of 4 brake lines, so I'd say that is a passing grade. And it's this one, so that end is stuck and it started twisting the tubing. It didn't break completely because I ended up breaking that side loose and then just spinning it out, but it still needs replaced. But I'm thankful that it's this one because it's on the rear axle. Should be super easy to recreate. All the other 4 corners are broke loose, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting in the new parts 1 corner at a time. I left the driver's side all together, so I have like a reference on putting it together. You've already seen me do brakes, so I'm just gonna try to knock this out. If anything happens, I'll let you know. All right, the brake shoes I got for this thing were wrong, and I'm not sure how I did that since I looked at them at the store, but it's all good. I got some new ones ordered, so we're gonna work on this brake line. And I actually got that thing to spin now. So I'm gonna try to reuse these fittings. I have some brake tubing here, so I'm gonna get this all bent up. After I get the shape to match this shape, I will cut these ends off, get them on there, and do the double flare.
these fittings off. This one came off super easy. The one that was stuck, not so much. I had to put it in the vise and do some pliers and hammer and stuff, and that's not what you want your fitting to look like, but it's what we got to work with. So it's got some built-in lock nut abilities now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on this tubing here that looks just like the factory, and then we'll double flare that. Deburr it. When you're setting up your tubing, you want it to stick through far enough so it lines up with that edge of the little die here. See how those are lined up? That's how you know you got enough tubing sticking through. Then you stick the die in there. I'll grab another one. That die has like a little knob that goes inside of the tubing. It's going to start the curl of the tubing. So the tubing outside the wall is like this. You start curling it like this so you get that double flare. Basically you're curling that tubing inside of itself. Suck that down till the die touches tubing holder. There's a good chance I'm going to have to redo this one, but you can see how it's kind of bubbled out. We'll see if that thing actually takes. Alright, got it all fixed up here. Got the double flare. Oh, geez. This end I had to do twice because the tubing split. But anyway, always a fun time making brake lines. Let's get this under the car. Alright, well, waiting for parts now. Got that line under the car, so that's good. The new brake shoes will be here in a few days. Hopefully we can wrap this thing up. That broken line is taken care of. Really, it's just a matter of putting it back together, which is sweet. We're getting real close on the stud muffin project. These things take a lot longer than you have planned in your head, that's for sure. All right, got the brakes kind of buttoned up. So, ordered some new brake shoes. So we got the wheel cylinder in there, got the new brake shoes in, and got the other corners buttoned up. According to Rock Auto, the front and rear are the same brake shoes. That is not the case, so that was the problem. These fronts are actually a bigger size, which makes sense because most of your stopping power comes from your front brakes, but it's been hard to find, you know, like part numbers and stuff. Napa can't even order the dang shoes for this car. But anyway, so unfortunately, I ended up not changing the shoes on the front. It's just, we're kind of at our time limit on this project. So got it buttoned up with the new wheel cylinders, new brake shoes on the rear, because the rears were really bad. But we should be able to at least, you know, get it to stop. So anyway, I'm gonna button up that last brake drum, and then I think what I'm gonna do is tackle these valve covers. Again, the only way you can get valve cover gaskets is to buy an entire gasket set, so far that I could find. So I'm just gonna RTV them. That's the best I can do right now. So get that done, and then when the kids get home, I'll have one of them help me bleed the brakes. We should be able to get this thing driving for the first time in 36 years, which would be pretty sweet. All right, Avery just helped me bleed the brakes, so that's sweet. We're gonna get the tires on. These tires came off the purple van. They're Hankook Mileage Plus version 2. So yeah, it's a nice little takeoff. The tire shop so lovingly pointed out that this tire has a flaw in it. I'm not sure how that happened.
Gonna have to do this another day. Dang it. Wait, let it warm up a little bit. See if we can get this little girl moving under its own power.
Whoops.
Back door open. Pretty sweet. Running and driving after 36 years. These revivals are pretty dang fun. So I hope you guys liked it. We got some more coming throughout the winter. I'm pretty excited. And some big things happening, on the staple projects of the channel. So pretty excited for that too. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Wheel it, wreck it, wrench it, repeat. We'll see you next time.